What's good, Bolt fam? I'm Booga Peters, and you are tuned in to Bolt Blitz Uncut. I'm your host, and I'm joined by my co-host from across the pond, 80 Simons. Don't look now, but your Los Angeles Chargers are not only 3-0, but they're also 3-0 in the division. 80, talk to me a little bit about this Chargers team. I know I didn't ask you how you're doing because, like I've told you before, I don't give a fuck. Let's talk football.
Yeah. Few hiccups before we went live, but we're good to go.
Absolutely, man. No, it was. Let me do this. I'm going to do this and embarrass you right now. It was actually quite beautiful, quite honestly, to see 80 get to interact with his son, Christian. So it was really great to have him as a major cog to the pre-show. So the fact that you figured it out, we're very proud of. And if it doesn't stay that way, we're okay too. We'll figure that out as well.
Yeah. So it's currently 1:30. I put him to bed at 8 p.m. and he just decided to get out of bed and come and annoy us while we're doing pre-show. And it's just like, so if you see a little head over my shoulder there, yeah.
We'll introduce him to you guys live. Don't worry about that. But guys, you're tuned into Bolt Blitz Uncut. You're listening to us on YouTube. The Chargers, again, 3-0. 3-0 in the division. This is not exactly how I envisioned it. Of course, it's how we hope for it to be. 80. You look at this 3-0 Chargers team. I ask you the question that, of course, even the naysayers are trying to lean towards the of course side. But are these Chargers for real under Jim Harbaugh? And this version is, all these new folks would like to say, of Justin Herbert.
I've been in this relationship far too long to actually commit to this. So
with the Chargers?
Yeah. 3-0 looks great. I'm waiting for this Charger moment. So, like, the first 5 weeks, you're kind of getting a feeling for what the team's around. Then come week 8 or 9, then you're like, okay, this could be something. Week 10 onwards, I'm going to be fully on board. But there's going to be a Charger moment, whether Keenan Allen has an injury or something major.
Easy.
Or Justin Herbert with his new girlfriend all of a sudden like pulls a groin or something and the whole season's gone. It's just like I'm waiting for something to happen. It's the Chargers moment, so we're going to see.
It feels like we should prepare ourselves for something like that, and it's because as a Chargers lifelong fan. At least somebody for decades long. I don't know if y'all know this, but both 80 and I have been around for a minute. And despite the fact that he's across the pond, he's one of the most knowledgeable fans I've ever met, regardless of where he lives. And he knows these Chargers inside and out. And I'll tell you right now, it feels like a different 3-0 to me.
Yeah.
This Jim Harbaugh, Joe Ortiz regime, it feels different to me. When I asked you the question, are these Chargers for real? Well, I don't know what the longevity behind that will remain or be, but I'll be damned if they're not for real right now. 80, 3-0 in the division. They've got the Giants next week. They're starting Jackson Dart there too. And we don't want to do too much of a preview today, but let's talk a little bit about this 3-0 Chargers team going into week 4 against the Giants with a rookie quarterback starting against defensive guru, an actual one, in Jesse Minter.
Like a lamb to the slaughter.
Woo!
The deep end, and then there's just in the pit. He's gonna see stuff coming. They're gonna go after him. He's gonna be seeing edge rushers and Derwin James when he wakes up the next morning. This is gonna be his moment of, oh damn, I'm really in the big show now. Oops, this ain't the SEC anymore. It's gonna be interesting. So. Again, talking about going into week 4, I actually did a bit of research on previous teams who were 4-0. So last year, the Vikings, they started the season 4-0. They finished 14-3. 2023, the 49ers, they went 4-0. They finished 12-5. The Eagles, they went 14-3. And the Cardinals in 2021, they finished 11-6. So, history's on our side when it comes to this kind of a record. It's all looking very promising. I'm like something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. I'm just like, I'm waiting for it. So around week 10, I'll start getting excited. I'll be back flipping and handstanding, and I'll be.
Waiting for the inevitable is just a part of life, and the older we get
it's
more
just
accustomed to doing so. Big shout out to my guy Matt Lidioff there in the comment section. He's joining for the first time tonight. It's great to have you here in the comments, and Matt and I are going to be talking after this show about making him the exclusive card dealer of Bolt Blitz Uncut. He has a lot of autographed items. He does a lot of stuff regarding hooking up Chargers fans with cards and various paraphernalia. So he's somebody we're excited to have in the comment section. So I'm glad he's here.
If he lands there, Booga, we'll start giving him a bell when he comes up, because then
he and I have a lot to talk about, but I'm looking forward to doing so with him. There's nobody else I'd rather help out. He actually messaged me tonight. This is how the conversation started. Though I already had it in mind, he literally said, "Hey man, do you want a couple of Chargers autographs?" Like, I don't do that. Like, I don't get autographs. That's not my thing. Even when I was trying my best to be the fan, I got the Bolt Blitz jersey signed. We raffled it off. But I'll tell you right now, there are so many Chargers fans out there who would appreciate being a part of an opportunity to win something like that. Matt, I'm rooting for you, and I look forward to talking to you later.
Well, and listen, I think 80 delivered a fine bit of analysis there. Even I, as not a member of the Bolt bureaucracy, understand that you have been hurt before. Hey, listen, I cover the Jacksonville Jaguars. My dude, Travis D. Holmes, my co-host, has a shirt that says "This team makes me drink." I get the vibe, okay?
That started with the Chargers, just so you know. I know the guy who made the T-shirt. It's a long story.
It makes a ton of sense. Listen, my dad had a book about the Chargers owner at the time in the 80s called First Down and a Billion. I get the concept. It's a whole thing. But I do want to lead into the happy a little bit. Gentlemen, I have two statements that I have for you. Now, one of them is me dunking on our mutual colleague, Ernest Christian, formerly of the Op Nation, currently of the Earnestly Speaking podcast, who tried to tell me that there are three MVPs he has in mind. One is, of course, Lamar Demetrius Jackson. One is that dude in Buffalo, a.k.a. Josh Allen. And Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones.
No.
His top three don't even include one Justin Herbert. So that, gentlemen, I give you in mind, is Herbert an early candidate in all of 3 weeks? So obviously this is set in stone for MVP in your mind at this early first quarter of the season stage.
80, you take this first and I'll clean up the mess when you're done.
Danny Dimes, maybe a comeback player, although he's coming back from the obscurity of New York, because that is a football hellhole. Comeback player of the year, maybe. Coming back into reality from like New York. No, nothing good comes out of a New York football team. It's a horrible sport down full of horrible people. It's just no.
We're attacking New York on Bolt Blitz Uncut.
This was a Herbert question. I love 80 going all in. That works for me.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's about going after Herbert, and we're ready, man.
Yeah. I mean, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Screw you all. I don't care. No, I don't care.
Just to remind the listeners out there, 80 is 6'11", about 336. So when he says screw you and he has an issue with you, if you really have a problem, you can figure out how to avoid him. I would do it.
At 80 Simons on Twitter. Come at me. So, Danny Dimes is comeback player of the year, maybe. I would say Justin Herbert's the front runner right now. I mean, season's long. We're only 3 weeks in, and we've got a lot of football left to play. Somebody might have a moment, or maybe they'll just give it to Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick, second has gotten MVPs he doesn't necessarily air quotes deserve, but had a case.
Hey, it's nice to see a non-AFC West guy chime in that regard. By the way,
what I said. Booga Peters.
I love it so much. But hey, let's stick on this topic because I'm glad that we're kind of doing this. We're talking about how the Chargers kind of weigh in regards to the rest of the AFC West. You have the Chiefs. Y'all saw what happened in Brazil. You have the Raiders in the AFC West. You saw what happened in Vegas. Y'all saw what happened at SoFi, and it was nice to see the Chargers find a way to not charger and actually be a part of what is literally this new Harbaugh movement. The Chargers are 3-0, not just in the NFL, but of course in the AFC West division. Moving forward, we keep seeing it everywhere. Click Bait Kirk, or as some people refer to him as Kurt Bankert. Ryan Clark. Horrible.
Yeah.
In every aspect of the game. Nick Wright.
Yeah.
Oh, these cats who've been trashing. Emmanuel Acho. I can't believe I almost forgot his name. Oh, wait. Yeah, I can. Because he's as forgettable as it can fucking be. Kyle, go.
I was about to say, if you're going to bring up Acho, I'll jump in on that. I get to talk trash on him in 2 shows the way I've been going to work with him, or on him, I should say, on the Duval Dive. Just throwing it out.
All of these cats that were anti-Herbert, he's the worst, but he's in LA. Let me get on that bandwagon. Gain those clicks because the Charger fans are vocal. It's funny how they're all like, oh, he's so good. It's so great. The Chargers are the team to beat in the AFC West. They're even going as far as saying that the Chargers are the team to beat in the AFC. 80, how sick are we of this bullshit? And really, I'm sorry that people are seeing what they believe is a new Justin Herbert. He's not new. He's just healthy.
He's healthy now. Every year since he's actually come into the league, he has actually been hurt. So as a rookie, hamstring strain, neck strain, dislocated finger. 2021,
and he played every game as a rookie, correct?
Well, after the doctor after the doctor did us a favor and stuck Tyrod,
punctured his lung.
Then 2021, ankle sprain and a concussion. 2022, he had a fractured rib cartilage. 2023, he went on to IR and missed it after mid-October.
Let me back you up real quick. Let me just go back to the rib cartilage thing.
Yeah.
For those of you who have never had a rib cartilage injury,
you can't breathe.
You can't breathe. Don't laugh. Don't cough. Whatever you do, don't cough. Yeah. Don't have a coughing fit.
Yeah.
And if you fart, it's not so funny. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And then 2023, he broke an index finger, which he actually finished the season on IR, which was the that's when we had the
that was the end of the Staley era.
Yeah, that we finished the season with Griff, and we had Easton Stick, and we had somebody else in the QB who was terrible. But then to start off the Harbour era, plantar fasciitis, and then a high ankle sprain. So he's never been 100% healthy, and now he is. And now we're seeing Justin Herbert. We're seeing the guy. And
mobile Herbert, a guy that people have complained about. Oh, we saw him mobile at Oregon. Why is he not doing that? Well, motherfuckers, he cannot run when he's banged the fuck up. He cannot be this aggressive mobile talent when they're counting on him to throw the ball every play that isn't a run play. Yeah. Now that he's healthy enough, at least. I don't know that you're ever healthy in the NFL, especially now that we're going in to what is the 4th game, entering what will be the precipice of the first month. I don't know how healthy anybody is from here moving forward. It'll be interesting to see how he handles things as a signal caller and as far as keeping his health in check. But I'll tell you right now, he's one of the players I'm the least concerned about in the league. I love what Matt Lidioff just brought up in the comments. Thank you for your comment, sir. That throw. Who makes that throw? You can say Mahomes 2 or 3 years ago, 2024, 25, Mahomes doesn't make that throw. Josh Allen makes that throw maybe, but I don't know if he's willing to make it. Herbert was willing to pull that trigger, rolling that way, arm hit. I don't know if anybody watched the Harbaugh press conference. Mm-hmm. He did the shit showing how many times his arm got hit, like he was battered to death. And it got there on time, and it got there too. Oh, the guy that Chargers fans couldn't figure out whether or not he would make sense as an addition again, Keenan Allen. I mean, come on, 80. Kyle, whomever wants to chime in. How gorgeous was that? And there aren't too many guys who can make that throw.
Yeah, Mahomes isn't making that pass. He had to be so mobile to get that off. I mean, he actually, damn near stiff-armed $100 million defensive end to get that pass off. Zach Allen, and then he had to kind of shuffle around, then bend the pass around the arm coming up. I think it was Benito.
Still got hit.
He had to bend that pass around and then have the arc away just enough so that Keenan Allen could get it and the DB couldn't. Yeah, maybe Josh Allen could probably get that off. Patrick Mahomes isn't agile enough to get that off. He kind of lumbers around and he's sneaky fast, but he ain't that. No, Josh Allen's probably the only QB that's getting that off.
Yeah, you took Patrick LeVon Mahomes II can make that throw, but he's not going through a defensive end to do it. By the way, if Patrick LeVon Mahomes II has third down and Keenan on his side, he might actually make that throw. Credit to dude handling business here. Oh, but Booga, it's dangerous to bring him back. He'll take stuff away from Lad McConkey. Dumbasses. Anyways, carry on.
Hey, we made a short out of that too, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, AD. Kyle and I, we had a little fun with the whole like Chargers fans saying, well, you know, and by the way, some of the most prominent Chargers podcasters out there, they just poo-pooed the whole idea of Keenan being a Charger. No, he's
that screenshot's out there, and that will never die now.
It will never die. But what do you know? These same guys who were completely against it because it didn't make sense. You can't have Ladd and Keenan. They're too similar. Those same folks are out here praising the fact that they do have them, and thank God that Herbert has guys that he can trust. And I don't know, Bo Blitz Uncut's been talking about for a long time.
Yeah,
line Keenan up at Y. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Keenan's going to get open, and the rapport that he has with Justin Herbert has clearly been reestablished. It's clearly adamant and out there for everyone to see. I don't know why everybody was concerned about that. I feel like we're one of the only shows to be like, yeah, Keenan makes sense, but like not just from a rah-rah standpoint, from a schematic standpoint, 80. All the things you can do with guys that can run choice routes on each side.
Yeah, he has that relationship already with Herbert. That's what we call it the third and Keenan. If you need to drop short into a soft zone to actually get to the sticks, he's going to do that, and he has enough of a relationship with Herbert. That's your security blanket. As a tight end would be like a check down. You've got Keenan that side to do that, and why we have the phrase third and Keenan. We had it before he left. Now we've got it as we come back. I mean, the guy's lost a step. He's lost a little bit of a wiggle, but that guy can do what we need him to do, and he can also make those clutch catches in the back of the end zone. So yeah, it's great. It works. We never said it wouldn't work. We fully expected they're going to complement each other, and they're going to find ways to scheme them open.
Considering Justin Herbert has the social life that he does right now, I don't think he needs to have a little wiggle. I think the quarterback got enough for them both.
Hey, maybe he has a little more than a little wiggle. I'm just saying. Congratulations to you, sir, Justin Herbert. By the way, I don't know her music. I don't care. I will just say this: if it makes you continue to play the way that you're playing, we're big Madison Beer fans here on Bo Blitz Uncut. We're huge fans. By the way, the last name Beer, not bad. You're talking about Bo Blitz Uncut.
Generic pop music with a nice Instagram account. That's Madison Beer.
So it's everybody else from the U.S. Got it. Let's move on. Let's talk about the running back position. The Chargers, obviously, despite the win in a comeback fashion against the Denver Broncos, they lose Najee Harris for the season with a torn Achilles. For those of you who are not familiar, I've dealt with this a little bit. I had a partial tear, then a full tear. And then why the fuck not? Let's fully tear it again. It's a tough rehab, but I promise you, if Najee's even semi-capable of working 1/10 as hard as I did, he'll come back even faster and stronger because he's, as much as I love Mike Altenberg and the folks at Health Quest Physical Therapy, he's going to have a different level of physical therapy than I had. Expect Najee to come back, even though it was just a small deal. I do expect him to be a Charger next year. For those of you who have forgotten conveniently or by choice, Jim Harbaugh recruited him in high school. I don't think he's going to let him go that easily.
they're gonna-
80. When you look at the loss of Harris, obviously it's huge. He's a great complement to what Hampton already provides. Now the team's going to have to rely on some things that would have been a lot easier to rely on maybe had a Rocket Sanders still been on the roster.
Yeah.
As far as you and I were concerned. But you look at the depth here. Omarion Hampton, phenomenal game. Lots of touches, 125 yards, touchdown. Respect it. Love it. Appreciate him stepping up, just as Matt Lidioff just added to the comment section. But how concerned are you about him being the guy moving forward? And Hassan Haskins, he's more of a Harbaugh guy, that glue guy, that I play special teams. I'm a core special teamer. How concerned should Chargers fans be about the backfield now that Najee Harris is out for the season?
They're going to need somebody to split the reps. So typically, like your bell cow, your bell cow as such would do about 60-65% under Harbaugh. You're going to need to go find somebody. Over on the free agent market, you've got Gus Edwards. Now, he's the obvious name because he was with the Chargers last year. He, whether he's healthy or not is a different matter. But yeah, Gus Edwards would be the obvious name to come back. I've been trying to pump Chris Rim from ESPN for information, whether he's actually whether they've reached out or not, because he's in the building. He's not really said anything to me. But the name I love, and Kyle, it'll probably pop in when I say this, the name I love the most, because you've got very few guys on the street now at this part of the season. You're going to have to start looking through practice squads, and you've got like Frank Gore Jr. I think the Colts have Khalil Herbert, and then just as he pops in here,
throw it in.
Damian Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for those who don't know Damian Martinez, he was a 7th round pick out of Miami. But whenever you looked at any of the production grades and like gap schemes runs from last year, he's in that top echelon, along with Omarion Hampton, along with Genty. I mean, his yards per carry over his career, he's actually better than Omarion Hampton's. He's in that gap scheme, the power run, the north-south runner. He has a higher grade than Omarion Hampton, and he's sat on the practice squad. You can sign him to a 53 tomorrow. Yeah. That would be the guy that I would immediately go to, because there's nobody around the league. There's nobody on the street. There's almost nobody noteworthy on a practice squad. If you're looking for a guy who can take 20, 25, 30% of your runs, that's probably the guy that I'm looking at right now, unless Gus Edwards is healthy.
I joked about it quickly. Obviously, the fact that Raheem Rocket Sanders was obviously picked up by the Browns, scores a touchdown in the Browns' first game, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. A lot of us would have liked to have seen him stick around. That being said, they kept Kamani Vidal around. How much confidence do you have in him moving forward? Because it looks as though he's going to be one of the guys to fill that void.
Honestly, next to none. You've got, like I say, Haskins, you've got on the active 53, and then on the practice squad, you've got Kamani Vidal, and you have got a guy by the name of Amar Johnson, who he came in as a workout a few weeks ago. They're both on the practice squad. One of the many list of guys that we don't really know much about. He worked
probably not major game wreckers or guys that are going to figure into the game plan moving forward.
No, there's not really. I don't see where the guy fits in. It's just like, okay, he might have a little bit of something, but you need somebody who's willing to take on a massive chunk of that to back up the rookie. It's like, so Gus Edwards would be my choice, would be 1A, and then if, say, for whatever reason, Gus Edwards isn't healthy, then my 1B would be the guy who literally produced more than him on the college level than Omarion Hampton, Damian Martinez, and he's sat on the practice squad over in Seattle. He's only a couple of hours away on the plane.
Damian Martinez's biggest problem, AD, is twofold. A, what a great running back draft we had this year.
Yeah.
And B, being stuck on the same squad as the guy that's the first overall bleeding draft pick. That's why Damian Martinez didn't get a whole lot of time. The only knock I have on him, well, is the same knock I have on a lot of guys, not Omarion Hampton or LaQuint Allen, by the way. They play in the ACC. What do they really face? But I think Damian Martinez overcomes that as well there too. That's a good pull. When you put that in our chat, AD, I really liked it.
The guy that, like, I don't typically look at running backs because it's not really my wheelhouse, but the only two guys that I really, really kind of enjoyed watching were Damian Martinez and Caleb Johnson, who, he was doing great stuff at Iowa until he got to Pittsburgh.
I'm so sorry. I didn't see it with Caleb Johnson. And it's not that I don't see him being somebody who can be successful in a reserve running back role. He's not somebody I would trust to be my bell back as much as he was at Iowa. And I love Iowa backs most of the time, especially fullbacks. Hell, I love everybody from Iowa. Them corn-fed boys, though I'm not O-line size, y'all know how much I appreciate O-lineman Richie Farley in the fucking comment section. We love you,
my
brother.
Jersey wall. Yeah, this is.
He's saying I love Rivers, I love Henry, and of course Manti Te'o. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I bought this jersey at the Qualcomm. This jersey will stay with me till the day I die. I bought this at the Qualcomm. I bought this over a DJ Fluker jersey. So, like, typically being a lineman, I always buy the first round draft pick, and for some reason, I just didn't want to buy the DJ Fluker. So I bought the second round draft pick. I mean, I could have bought the third round draft pick of that year. A guy by the name of Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he did all right. But Manti Te'o, this was his rookie season after the Heisman campaign, and he got a lot of media traction. So I at the Qualcomm Pro Shop, I bought this jersey, and it's nice. And like I say, we've got the Hunter Henry jersey that's here.
That's because you're a former tight end. You better tell people that too, not just line.
I used to be like a very svelte 265 pounds and played tight end for a bit during my college days. And
at what height? Hold on, be specific.
Oh, I was still like 6'8" in my early college days. I was like 265.
So what AD's saying is he was my height and weight. Keep going.
Yeah, and then we've got the old school. This is the first Rivers jersey I ever got. So when I started playing football, when we kind of pushed to pick a team, I bought this for the equivalent of about £10. So that was about $13-14. This was in some random like stateside sports shop where you could just buy like random jerseys. I mean, it was So this is the Rivers one again. This will stay with me forever. I'll never get rid of this one. So, but I have a ton more. So I have a custom 21 because I got married in 2021. So me and my wife, our friends know us.
You don't get to see mushy shit like that on here because I'll get mushy with you. People don't know that about you.
Yeah. So I got married in 2021. Me and my wife are both.
That's gorgeous. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful.
We're both athletes. My wife. I mean, when we moved to the new studio, you'll see her jerseys behind. So she was an England international rugby player. She retired from rugby. She then transitioned to American football, as you do. And within a year, she was captain of the Great Britain women's team, and she was defensive end. She was.
I was just saying, talk about her D line work. Come on, man.
Oh yeah. She she has the national record for the most amount of sacks during her career, most amount of sacks in a game, 4.5. Most amount, I think she's top 5 in tackles during the program's entire history. And she was dominant as hell during in the women's league. The only way she could get better was playing against men. And she went to one of the top leagues in Europe, men's division, with me. She was actually playing on a team with me. And
I know. I remember.
Yeah. There is a photo there of her taking a 240-pound fullback on a fullback dive, and she
crushed him in the eye. She crushed it. I saw it.
Yeah.
In the picture, by the way, I saw it.
Yeah,
it's obviously not live action. I knew what was happening.
Yeah. So you can see the picture, the left tackle in the background on his backside, And then she's in the background, this 240-pound fullback. She's just swinging this guy all over the place and ripping the ball off him. It's just like, yeah, I go home to that.
Yeah. Right. Oh man, okay.
I cook it.
It sounds better when you say it that way.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to do something. We're going to do a better job of recognizing the chat here when we're doing Bull Blitz Uncut. And Matt's been bringing up the fact that good times in San Diego with Bolt Blitz. Never forget those meetups. I'll tell you right now, me neither. We put parties together that just allowed Chargers fans to win some free shit or maybe purchase some raffle tickets. But we just sat there, drank a lot of beer, had some fun, got some important media members involved, some players involved, and it was just a unique bonding experience in that everybody forgot who they were before they came in there. It was just the fact that you were a Chargers fan.
Yeah. So
I hope to bring more of that to the landscape because there are too many groups that are trying to be too individualistic as opposed to creating that family. I don't care what moniker you have on your Chargers fan group name. You're part of the Bolt fam, whether you like it or not. And all I have to say going forward is we're going to continue to reinforce that over and over and over again. Listen, it's been a long time since we've been around. We're back in a completely different form. And this is where I segue into this. We're talking about old times. We're talking about meetups. We're talking about only the OGs remember. Now, I ain't going to do it. I'm not going to forget about that one guy.
Okay.
Don't you dare right now. Don't you dare right now. I just want to give a shout out to Thomas. I want to give a shout out. RIP Thomas Powell. Miss you. Love you. Bolt Blitz is completely different now. It looks different. It sounds different. And we're a little more focused on providing stats and information than we are fan engagement. It's something that we're going to try to take those two worlds and put them together, Tom. But I just need you to know that we're trying our best. I'm trying my best. I can't believe you're gone. I miss you. I love you. And I wish you were here. 80, we're going to go right to Richie's comment right there. It says, curious to see how the interior line holds up against Dexter Lawrence and our tackles against Yvonne Thibodeau. They will have to be neutralized if the offense wants to hit the ground hard. Your concerns regarding the offensive line handling Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, all-world nose tackle.
I'm not looking forward to it. If you saw the run and pass blocking grades from this last game, I mean, Dexter Lawrence is arguably the best nose tackle. He's taking people out. There's going to be some disruption. That front seven is deadly. They've got Brian Burns, Thibodeau.
I forgot about Burns. God,
you forget Brian. Yeah, and then they've got Abdul Carter. Yep, they've got Dexter Lawrence. It's like, oh, damn. There's so many ways that you can get at you, and when you consider that the pass block and the run blocking grades for this previous game, they're not good. They are not good whatsoever. I mean, like, if you follow Pro Football Focus grades, 60 is like an average grade. That's like you didn't actively do anything to hurt your team. We have got Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman. So your center and left guard, they scored poor. Like
yeah. How far below 60?
Poor. Like I mean, even Mekhi Becton is like, he was like average. It's just like, yeah. I mean, the run blocking is even worse. It's we cut, like, if we want to keep Herbert upright, that's got to improve.
Well, no, and then, so hold on. Let's talk about both facets of the offense, not just the run game and not just the pass game. When I look at the passing game, I actually have a little more confidence than I do in the running game, because the more times that 10 has the ball in his hands and making the decisions, the more comfortable I feel. The running game, though, Hampton's still trying to figure it out. I need to caution everybody out there in Charger land, the Bolt fam, the Bolt bureaucracy, as our producer extraordinaire refers to them. I need you guys to be patient with Hampton. It's a different league. He's finding out that accelerating into some gaps, you're gonna find some monsters in there every now and then.
Yeah.
That being said, he's a fall forward guy. He's a guy who's constantly getting more yards then the play would. I don't give a fuck what PFF or any other projection or whatever says. I don't care. He's a guy who every time is trying to bounce off, grind, spin, twirl, whatever the hell it takes to get that extra yard, 2 yards, 3 yards. There was one play he literally surged forward from what would have been a 2.5 yard gain to a 9 yard gain.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I can deal with that. Oh. Our producer extraordinaire literally has the pass blocking grades up there. While we're on the subject of pass blocking, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up your boy. That Joe Alt guy's pretty good, huh, 80?
Yeah. I mean, he might be a pretty good left tackle going forward for next year.
Even next year, moving forward into the future.
Even next year, yeah. He's I think he's like top 3 right now in his pass blocking grade. I think overall he's also top 3. Yeah, he's a very good. He's a very good professional football player. If you were trying to create a left tackle for your franchise on Create a Player on Madden, he would look like Joe Alt. 6'8", 322, can run, can block. It's just, yeah, he is the perfect package of a franchise tackle in the NFL. And it's going to be really, really hard for him for a certain Rashawn Slater to come back. So I'm going to go to this. We've heard some rumblings this week that in the building there's some talk about Rashawn Slater coming back as center. Almost immediately, Slater's O-line coach, Duke Manyweather, a guy who I'm going to be spending some time with in the next month, he came back almost immediately and said, no.
He's a left tackle.
No. He said Rashawn Slater will be the Chargers' left tackle next year. And it's just like, yeah, this may end up being a job in camp. We don't know the state. Everything's been really, really quiet about the status of his injury. And we know from a research paper in the National Library of Medicine, tackle might not be the best position for him when he comes back. And when he was originally drafted, there were murmurings about him kicking inside the guard. Never sent him.
He's telling the truth.
Yeah,
hey, hold up. I'm going to interrupt you here. As soon as he was drafted, in fact, maybe prior to him being drafted, you and I talked. Yeah. You could say it. And I said, hey, listen. And I know I'm not original on this. I'm not the first person to suggest it. But he looked like a phenomenal left guard or anybody from that power position as a guard to move. What I know people are trying to say, well, he played right tackle at Northwestern. Maybe he comes back and they move him to right tackle. Well, I don't know if I trust that patellar tendon injury and the recovery that's behind that. Do you really think it's more feasible to expect him to come back as a guard?
Yeah, because as a tackle, you're going to be doing jump sets. And if he's ruptured that left knee, if you're doing jump sets and kick steps and that, you're going to be wearing out that injured knee quite a lot quicker. And the physical pace of playing tackle, you're going to have a much higher injury risk of re-injuring that left knee. Guard or center. Now, he has played all 5 positions on the college level. He has all 5 positions. So I think what they'll probably do is I would expect them to probably bring in 2 guys in this next draft. I would like to.
I mean, it has to be at least 2. Hold on.
Yeah, I want to see
more movement in the draft, and they bring in Branson Taylor, and you and I are like, ew.
No. Well, Branson Taylor was never that good. I mean, when you saw
the Missouri team.
Oh,
come on, beyond. Let's talk. Brandon Jones, the old line coach there.
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot that you have to say about Branson Taylor moving forward. The Chargers, in your mind, clearly have to do some things when it comes to establishing not just depth, but maybe somebody who can come in and start, considering we really have no idea what's going to happen with Rashawn Slater moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, there's I think the number 1 ranked guard in this draft is a guy out of Missouri, funnily enough. I think it's Caden Green. Caden Green, yeah. He's the highest graded guard, and he is a left guard out of Missouri. There's a center called Connor Tollison coming out of Missouri. He's I don't see him as being a good NFL prospect.
Not a fan.
No, he's too light in the backside, and he's
too light, and his feet are slow. I don't. If you're going to be light, I don't want slow feet.
Yeah, he's not. There's other guys. There's I think his Bryce Taylor out of Kansas. He is an absolute animal.
No, he's a dog.
Yeah. He was Texas A&M, and he transferred to Kansas. He is an absolute savage of a human being. His scouting reports from some of the networks literally say like the gap scheme man downhill. He's a mauler. He will absolutely rip you to pieces. He's a grown man and he's a multiple sport athlete. He's got a wrestling and track and field background. That's what you want in your offensive lineman. You want guys who can do that.
One of my favorite things about you being my co-host is the fact that you constantly set me up for the shit that I'm really ready to talk about. Oh. This Chargers team, it's a different regime. It's Jim Harbaugh. It's Justin Herbert, healthy. You know, where's that nasty lineman? Where's that dominator? Where's that guy that establishes things like a Chris Dealman? Where's that guy in the middle like a Jamal Williams? This Chargers team, it really feels like it's prepared to move forward. I'm not so sure, though, that this is the squad that's going to get it done. When you look at these past Chargers teams and defenses especially, what does this Chargers team lack that may give you a little bit of concern moving forward when it comes to establishing yourself? It's not just a 3-0 team moving forward, but a team that is to be reckoned with throughout the entirety of the season and maybe even a Super Bowl contender.
You need nasty. You need a tone setter. You need a Richie Incognito type of player. A guy, if
but nobody wants to hear that, 80. Not that.
No. You need a guy who's going to run up and down the Pacific Coast Highway with a couple of kilos of cocaine and maybe a dead hooker in the boot. You want that level of crazy to play O-line. That's the guy you want, but the old Chargers would never put up with a guy like that because they don't know how to deal with them. They from owners to GM to coach, they would never consider a guy like that. I mean, everybody's jumping rah about Joe Alt. He hit somebody who hit Herbert late. A couple of plays later, he laid this guy on his back and just stood over him and looked at him.
That wasn't intentional either, by the way. No. Alt's always keeping score, I promise you. He's one of those guys. He's like you explained to me, which was already explained to me by NFL offensive linemen as well. If you do something dirty, you may get away with that play, but we're going to come back.
Yeah. You've taken mental note of that jersey number. They're coming for you. You're going to get your lick back. And Kyle, as a former offensive lineman who just popped up there, they know if you touch my QB, get off the field because you're getting one.
You get one. I love it.
Yeah. So, you need somebody with that level. There you go.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing is to let the man preach and let 80 cook. I just needed to know, well, let me show the credentials again, that I know exactly to the exact degree that he's correct.
Yeah.
I'm just leaving it at that.
So it's they need somebody with that level of nasty, and we don't so much have it right now. And that's the kind of guy you want. You want one of your interior lines who are just gonna just a tone setter. You have it on your defense. You have your Derwin James. Not talking, but he's your tone setter. Yeah, you have that guy on the defense. He's a tone setter, and you need somebody on the opposite side of the ball that's going to do that. And we don't have that right now. So that's either as a veteran or as a guy coming from the college ranks. I want to see that in this next draft.
It's got to be something like that. And it's not that anybody on this show, whether it's myself, 80, Kyle, or anybody who's been a part of this show moving forward or will be, it's not that we're saying that the Chargers don't have killers on this team. It's just there's this weird element that it feels like there's this missing ingredient to the recipe.
They're missing that nasty streak.
And I don't know who it would be, so it's weird for me to complain about it. If I don't have a solution, I generally don't tend to be the guy to complain about anything. But Kyle, your thoughts?
I don't know that Jim Harbaugh's the kind of guy that has somebody that's nasty per se. He's just everybody is a lot more physical and better at being physical than you. And listen, I get it, okay? As a guy, as a 49er fan with that Harbaugh group that had Justin Smith and Aldon Smith on either side, I completely understand where you're coming from on this, okay? Let me be clear, which the irony that you guys mentioned Richie Incognito, and then they try Jonathan Martin at right tackle still confused me. But whatever. The punchline's this. I get having that nasty streak. I don't know that Harbaugh and this offense is this group. And I think the argument could be made that maybe Najee Harris was supposed to be that guy running the ball in a matter of speaking. And, well, now that he's hurt, that's less a thing. Maybe Khalil Mack is supposed to be that guy. Well, now he's hurt, and that's not a thing. Maybe these defensive tackles are those guys. I'm not here to say that there's not one dude that's out there junkyard dog trying to crush you like that, like you guys are talking about. I think there's a bit of dog. This isn't, you're not looking for one junkyard dog. I'm telling you, you have a kennel's worth here in that Harbaugh offense and team, basically, that can maybe in the aggregate get that job done. I don't want to sell this team too short. I'm kind of selling your point. You're not saying there aren't killers. You're looking for that guy. Maybe you have that in the aggregate.
And maybe that's the case. Here's the deal. I mean, the 80 and I have talked ad nauseum, and so has everybody in the Bolt Blitz group chat, about how this is a different group of weapons, although we have a Keenan in there again, that Justin Herbert's ever had to work with. There are some athletes here. You have some true speed guys, too. Keandre Lambert-Smith, Dre, as he prefers to be called, he's a true 4.37 guy. Ladd McConkey, by the way, I'm not trying to start anything here, but if you're not feeling his frustration during these games, then you're not paying attention. Ladd McConkey definitely wants to be paid attention to a little bit more. And additionally, Keenan Allen is just going to find a way to get open, as we saw at the end of that Denver game. There are a lot of weapons, but there's only one ball to go around. Kyle, when you look at this Chargers offense, and again, one of the reasons why I love that you're the producer of this show is you're an outside looking in perspective. You look at this Chargers offense, Quentin Johnston's going off. He can't fail right now, which is crazy to Chargers fans. Yeah, Ladd McConkey want more catches and touches. Then you have all these other guys going off, making these plays. I mean, it's a good problem to have, isn't it?
No, 100%. And I think in Ladd McConkey's case, it's coming, right? As more teams overcompensate to adjust for QJ catching balls suddenly in a way that they didn't imagine, the more that they adjust to third
or
down.
Did they imagine? Maybe we're the ones on the outside looking in. Maybe they expected this version of QJ.
No, the Chargers might. I'm talking about their opponents, Booga, right? You don't come in prepping for QJ. You're thinking you could contain him.
Well, now you better now.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Winter is coming for Ladd McConkey, right? At day's end, the Falcons, when they went on that 15-game, not the 15-game winning streak.
You should have said Minter is coming.
Oh, that's beautiful. But what I'm getting to is the year that the Falcons went to the Super Bowl and then disappointed everybody and assured we had to listen to Tom Brady for the rest of our goddamn lives.
God. Yeah, fuck.
Julio Jones was amazing. Whether he got 40 yards or 240 yards, his day was coming. I'm going to let 80 jump in and kind of back me on this because I think you're on the same page. It's only a matter of time before Ladd McConkey gets his touches, right?
Yeah, they're gonna figure out a way to scheme him in. You're talking about QJ, like QJ's still the same. We know what QJ is. Like, I think like 7 of his last 11 touchdowns, they've all come off the same route. And that one against the Raiders, the DBs actually spotted that, and they Greg Roman actually schemed that perfectly as a double move. So as you can see, Kelly, Greg
Roman scheming a pass. What are we doing here?
They schemed this. So on the live stream, you can see the near side to the camera DB corner, Kelly Blue. He calls out the crossing route, and you can see the high safety come down. He's looking in the backfield. He's watching for Herbert to throw that pass because he's ready to jump it. And from the rear view of Herbert behind, he's he doesn't look any other direction. He's looking for that pass. He doesn't look to the right where the shallow crosser, which is which Lad McConkey comes on. Doesn't look for Keenan Allen. His eyes are completely the whole time he's watching for QJ. And as soon as that safety comes down, he pulls the double move off, and that's why nobody's anywhere near him in the back, all the way to the end zone. But yeah, 7 of his last 11 touchdowns have all come off that deep crossing route. And everybody's waiting for that now because that seems to be all he runs. And we know what happened with the start of last season when they pulled him into Jim Harbaugh pulled him into the office to figure out what he could do, because his rookie season, he was a massive bust. And it turns out this guy who, with a first-round draft pick, can only run 3 NFL routes. So now...
Here's the deal. I'm so glad. I love the floor right now. Boy, Quentin Johnston, I had so much to say about you being drafted. I've had so much to say about your first attempts at being an NFL wide receiver, your inability to close, your inability to do anything contested catch-wise, your inability to read where the quarterback's trying to put the ball, your inability to chop your feet enough once you get the ball in your hands, because despite the fact that's something you specialized in college, in NFL, you forgot how to do that for a minute. That being said, you can't help but make a believer out of even me right now. The fact that QJ is putting up the numbers that he is, he's scoring constantly. He's one of the most trusted weapons on that offense. And it does not matter what 80 thinks. It doesn't matter what Kyle thinks. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what Buck D, our other co-host, thinks. Justin Herbert believes in Quentin Johnston. It's because he's earned it.
I think that's the conclusion we've all come to at this particular juncture here.
I'd say going forward, the only thing I want to see is how he reacts to be impressed. Now, he had Patrick Surtain, I think the stat was 86% of the time.
Hold on, let me say this real quick. They went to QJ 5 times, including on 2 deep overs and a 9, while Surtain was on him. Nobody's afraid of him this year for whatever reason.
No, he's like, they went to him, but he followed him around 86% of the time. Sometimes he was sat in the zone, sometimes he followed him across. I want to see how he reacts to being pressed up in tight coverage, because last season against Baltimore, against the Texans, they were the situations where he was dropping the ball. When you got in his face, he dropped the ball. And I need to see more of that before I'm ready to get invested in him. 5 targets, 0 receptions in that. I mean, it's inexcusable. It doesn't. So here's the deal. He wasn't counting, even though there were injuries and issues and blah, 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 blah. QJ wasn't exactly a wide receiver 1 at that point. But that being said, if you're a member of any NFL offense, especially in the playoffs, when you're targeted 5 times, we need to see at least 3 catches, I would hope. There needs to be a much higher level than what he put out because of those 5 attempts that really were catchable. He had 0 catches. That game was a nightmare in all facets. Let's be perfectly clear. Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater both had their worst games of the season, considering they're the best offensive lineman the Chargers had at the time and will be moving forward. That's obviously something that Herbert had to deal with. Herbert made some throws. The first pick that he threw, inexcusable. He literally put so much air under that. AD couldn't have grabbed it because somebody shorter is going to box him out and get it because of how much air was underneath it. 2 of his picks, obviously, were caromed off of wide receiver hands, but nobody in the national media wanted to talk about that then. They're leaving that out as they progress forward with their narrative regarding Herbert in the 2025 season. I don't necessarily see something different from Herbert. I just see a healthy guy. Yeah. When you look at this offense moving forward, especially with 10 under the helm, what should Charger fans expect? And despite the fact that the running game is obviously going to be a little bit dinged up with Harris not being there, I don't necessarily expect the offense to take too much of a hit. Do you expect them to struggle, or do you think Herbert and obviously Roman are going to find a way to get things done offensively? No, they're going to start throwing different stuff out of these week. I mean, this week they activated Arande Gadsden, the fake tight end. He's not a tight end.
He's a wide slot. You and I know it. Kyle knows it. James knows it.
He's a slot receiver. I saw some tweets this week saying that we finally got a tight end one, and he's the 250-pound guy. He's not. He's 236. The Chargers have him listed at 236.
Sopping wet.
Yeah, he is a receiver. He also had the lowest run blocking grade, so we know he can't do that. Which is
it was like 40.0. It was like they literally said, like, we got to slap a grade on you. We're just going to give you a 4.
He literally had the worst run blocking grade. That is the main reason he will never be tight end.
But 80, no one's talking about that part. They just love those clutch catches.
Yeah, and I've seen it. Oh, he should be the starter. Oh, he should be this. That run blocking grade is why he's not, and he never will be.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So the way I compare it is the most complete tight end room in the NFL is Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
Yeah, you have the prototypical tight end who could do everything. He's 250 plus. He's 6'5". He can be a defensive lineman. He can be a receiver when you need him to be. He's your tool. He's what a prototypical tight end is. We don't really have that. Disley is probably the closest thing we have to that because he really can block. Then the Bills have Dalton Kincaid. Now
they have Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, Dalton Knopf, Kincaid, which Gadsden is probably the level he can be, but he's still never going to be a true number one. No, he can't block. He's a good receiver, and he is, like I say, he's in line with like your Dalton Kincaid. That's not a bad thing, but you have to accept that you are not going to be the number one tight end in this league. And no matter how many fans are probably going to be pumping up his stats on Madden, he ain't going to be number one. And then you've got the human bulldozer in my favorite tight end after
Jackson Hawes.
Second favorite, Jackson Hall. This man, this guy at Georgia Tech last year recorded 33 pancake blocks. Like, that's more than the entire. That is an absurd stat. And even when he went to the combine, he did his interviews and he just said, "I just want to hurt people. I just want to punish people."
I know.
Yeah, and he's scoring touchdowns. Like, they're running me on bootlegs, and he's actually putting him in the back of the end zone. It's like, Jesus. What you wouldn't get.
Well, then he ends up with a touchdown too. Don't even tell me you expected him to be a receiving threat, except for the fact that some of y'all tight ends. By the way, for those of you who don't know, 80's not just a former O lineman. He played some tight end too. Y'all sneak into that end zone. Y'all hit somebody in the mouth and then just kind of creep right behind the defense and sit there with all your height inside.
Oh, it's the biggest psych you could do as a tight end, right? You've been hitting the dude all game. He starts to flinch. Psych! Touchdown, bitch. It's very simple.
But yeah, like I said, Buffalo is probably the most complete tight end room in the entire league. And that's probably what you're going to want. If Gadsden's going to stay around, he has to accept, and the fans have to accept, Gadsden is never going to be the number one. He is a glorified slot receiver in this league. He's never going to be tight end one in any kind of professional setup.
But for me, and I'm really glad you're saying that. I don't know that anybody's going to listen because they don't listen to shit. But I'll tell you right now, he doesn't have to be. With the way that the Chargers in this offense have decided to move the ball around, Gadsden can be whatever he needs to be within the framework of the offense. I look forward to how they integrate him into that because we did see, as much as people had to say and point out on social media, he did have a couple clutch grabs that it felt like those are some tough balls to bring in. So it was nice to see that. 80, I'm not going to try to convince you he's anything more than a Y slot. And anybody else who tries to do that, y'all are missing the opportunity to talk about the fact that he can be a successful Y slot. I know a guy who just got introduced and inducted into the Hall of Fame who was more a Y slot than anything. If you guys thought Antonio Gates was that much of a blocker, you were not watching the same games that I was watching. Let's move on. We've been talking about losses. We talked about the loss of Najee Harris at the running back position, the loss of Khalil Mack. I mean, I'm a little surprised that there wasn't more attention paid. They brought in Rashad Weaver, obviously. I don't know that the Chargers pass rush situation is in a healthy position. The loss of Mac is horrible, but I guess the fact that he can coach from the sideline is a blessing. You look at this pass rush going forward. Thule, 6 pressures, didn't actually get home, but I think fans pay too much attention to the fact, pay too much attention to the sack totals. You look at the game that Thule had last week. I think that's a great start as far as him trying to establish himself as the number 1 rusher. Caleb Murphy had some plays. Kyle Kennard pretty much non-existent. How concerned are you about the edge group moving forward?
Losing Mac is a problem because we don't have a player capable of that level of production. Thule, he is not a natural edge rusher. He bull rushes and he'll drive a right tackle back, and Mike McGlinchey, who he was working over. Mike McGlinchey isn't a good right tackle. There's a reason why he was a first-round draft pick. There's a reason the 49ers let that guy go.
And they said, peace out.
Yeah. It's just like, no, we're not taking you for your 5th-year option. You can just go and get paid somewhere else. Thule, he's not a natural edge rusher. He's a bull rusher. He's going to drive a tackle back and come inside. He's not really a guy that's going to play off the edge. He's a under the old Staley, he was the natural successor to what Morgan Fox would have been. In that kind of 3-4, he would have been the backside 2-gap guy. He was in his final year at USC. He was 290 pounds. He was built like a free.
So hey, hold on, let me interrupt you because I want to make sure that you point that out to people. It sounds like you're kind of going after him. What 80 is literally trying to tell folks out there is that at USC when 80, I don't know the last time you were 290 pounds, you were probably about 13 years old. But when Thule was up to 290 pounds there at USC, it felt like that was his most successful weight. It felt like that was when he made the most impact. I don't know that Ben Herbert and this mentor defense is going to call for something like that. That being said, they're going to have to figure out a way to utilize him for one reason or another because he's still getting paid. My concerns about him as an edge rusher have been the same since he was drafted. Same thing you talked about. When I see a guy cut a bunch of weight, it wasn't a ton, but 30 pounds. I mean, come on, that's 10% when you're at 290 or whatever. It's about 8.8. When you do that kind of thing, it changes your game, or it can, and it probably should. What I would love to see from Thule is just some consistency, whether it's inside at 290 or it's outside at 265. I know he's getting pressures, and I know that he's making plays, and I know that so many of us would rather see more numbers in the box score from him. When you're trying to fill in for the loss of a guy like Khalil Mack, you literally can't. But that being said, I hope they can figure out a way to get to the quarterback. I don't think that Kyle Kennard's the answer. I don't think that Caleb Murphy is the answer. And I really don't have a lot of faith in Bud Dupree as a pass rusher. Love him as a run defender. Not looking forward to Bud Dupree being the secondary rusher. How big of a problem is this for the Chargers moving forward, Andy?
It's going to be a problem.
The secondary can only cover for so long.
Yeah. You need 2.5, 3 seconds, and you've got to be in that backfield getting the QB off his spot. Because if you give him too long on his spot, he's going to get passes off, and you're going to get guys sitting in zone. I mean, Travis Kelce's a good example of that. He will find a soft spot, and he'll make you pay. So we also signed Cleveland Farrell from former Raider. So
thank you for bringing that up, by the way.
So an interesting one is that when the Raiders traded Khalil Mack to Chicago, they drafted Cleveland Farrell to replace Mack. And then when Mack goes injured, we signed Cleveland Farrell off the street to replace Mack. Now, he's on the practice squad. They can activate 2 players a week. And then at the moment, they have to activate the long snapper, Rick Lovato, I think his name is.
Lovato from the Eagles.
Yeah, Lovato from the Eagles. Yeah, he's going to get activated every week until after this game, because Josh Harris can come back after week 4 because he was on IR.
If he's healthy, and he should be. Yeah. From what I'm told, just so everybody out there is paying attention, this is not an official report, but from what I'm told, Josh Harris will be ready to go when the actual official IR date is up.
Yeah. So, but also when you're looking at who was available on the free agent market, The only person really available gone right at the top end is Shaquille Barrett. He was it, because if Khalil Mack had got injured like a week earlier, you would have had Jadeveon Clowney and Preston Smith on the market. Bring them in. But they literally they got signed the week
Clowney
before.
just got snatched up like a week before.
Yeah. It was a Saturday before Matt got hurt. Clowney signed for the Cowboys. Now they just unfortunate timing, and now he just got to make best of it. I mean, looking at what's been said about his injury, depending on how severe it is, I would expect him back 4 or 5 weeks with probably got a brace on his arm because it's a dislocation. Depending on the level of dislocation, 4 or 5 weeks with one of those braces that we saw JJ Watt wear for most of his career. He'll probably be back with one of those. Because this will probably be.
I think we'll take him back in any capacity at this point. Yeah. Because as you kind of mentioned, and without saying as much, you're not the only one who's concerned about the pass rush or lack thereof. Considering, as James just added, the pass rush is ass right now, and I don't see it getting better anytime soon. Hold on though, time out, Chargers fans. Jesse Minter is in his bag. When I tell you that, I've watched back all 3 games. There are things that he's doing schematically with his zones that you normally don't do, but the team tackling and the team getting to errant balls and tip balls, it is not an accident. We've talked about the triangulation of the certain pockets of the zones that Minter puts together. I think that we have a chance to see a really special Chargers defense this year. It's been phenomenal having Jesse Minter as a defensive coordinator. I look forward to seeing who you are the head coach of in 2026.
Yeah.
I don't see him sticking around. I really don't. And additionally, and this is really going to fuck with some heads, if Greg Roman keeps finding ways to literally cater the offense to his roster, that's really proving a lot of people wrong. I'm not suggesting that the Chargers are going to be head coach Jim Harbaugh and a different offensive coordinator and a different defensive coordinator, but I hope y'all can at least try to entertain that fact in your minds, because this does feel like a different Chargers team.
Yeah.
Been around this group for over 4 decades. It just feels a little different. And I think part of the reason is the ownership group in the Spanos family. Y'all don't want to hear that, I know. The Spanos group has really put not just their heart and soul into the backing of being in LA, but just the quality of the product. It's why you have the Bolt. And I know it's not in San Diego, and I'm sorry, fans. I'm so sorry. But that being said, if you're capable of finding it in your hearts to embrace this LA Chargers team, you former San Diego Chargers fans, I really do think that you have something that you can be proud of. This is a different team. It's a different feeling. Every game is different. I had the first game in I don't know how many decades, literally, where when the Chargers were down against the Broncos, I literally wasn't too concerned. 80. I didn't worry about a chargering happening. You looked at the game, you were watching the game, your thoughts, and was there a point, despite the fact that they were down, did you think 10 was going to let that happen, or did you think that Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter and Greg Roman were going to say, yeah, no, whatever, we'll see what they do with it and we'll react to them? No, the Chargers were aggressors in every facet of the game.
Yeah, they're going to sling it. He was going to sling it. Like, you saw some of the limits that he went to actually make that pass. I mean, would he have done that a couple of years ago when he was banged up? Probably not. He would have probably taken a sack. He's a man.
You might have held on to it at least a skosh longer. And there was no hesitation, 80.
No. He was very instinctive. He kind of stepped up, took $105 million defensive end, just batted him away, and just curved the ball around your new edge rusher that's just got $100 million. Nick Benito, he's just got a big old deal as well. So you've just mugged off $200 million worth of off defenders. Yeah.
80,
So,
let's go right to the comments. We want to do a better job of getting the comments in the comment section involved. Matt Lidioff is saying these Chargers are exciting to watch.
Yeah,
My God, they sure as shit are. It's kind of fun. It's a little different to not be shitting my pants the entire game long, especially when it gets into the later parts. James Allen definitely got a new identity. It feels that way, this Harbaugh regime. It's not just a change in culture. It's a change in the way that these guys approach the game, because you're listening to every single player that is literally coached by this guy talking about how amazing he is. Sure, he's weird as fuck. Whatever. We're all weird. But they all adore him. 80. When you think about that new identity, I mean, it's new. Even forget about Ortiz. Just talk about it from the Jim Harbaugh level.
They're resetting the culture, and that doesn't happen overnight. In reality, you're going to need 3 to 5 years. So I don't expect us to win a Super Bowl this year. I expect a nice improvement. I personally, being open and transparent, I expected it to be 1 or 2 games worse than last year. I've been pleasantly surprised, but year 3 is when I want to see us playoffs and beyond, winning playoff games. That's when and then year 5, I want to see a Super Bowl. But it takes time to reset a culture. You've got to get rid of the bad elements from the last culture.
Or every culture that the Chargers have allowed to be created. Here's the deal. Let me take over here, 80. I see you guys in the comments. Here's the deal. The old regime and the older regime and the oldest regime and the regime before that and the regime before that. It's been tough sledding. Man, has this shit been tough to digest.
Yeah.
I've literally spent 46 years trying to defend the Chargers and talk about why they're worth watching and why they're going to be this and they're going to be that. I'm 46 years old, going on about to die, and I got to tell you, I've never in my lifetime felt more confident in the Chargers team. Not necessarily in the fact that they're Super Bowl contenders or anything like that. I just mean they actually have a full staff in place from the GM. And I'm not a big, 80 isn't either. We're not the biggest Joe Ortiz fans, but we love Harbaugh. We're figuring out Roman. We really love Jesse Minter because who couldn't? And the same goes for Ryan Ficken. But when I look at this team, it's a different song. It's a different story. It's a different book. And I don't know where to fucking pick it up and go from there because I just don't want to be hurt anymore.
Yeah.
But what do you know? It's the NFL and it's real life and there's no choice but to be hurt. I'll tell you, this feels like it has the opportunity to be a strong Chargers season, and it will be. But I couldn't agree more with 80 that this just isn't quite that year. It's looking more like 2026.
Yeah.
Lots of positives regarding this Chargers team. Lots of positives regarding the Chargers moving forward after a 3-0 start, especially being 3-0 in the division. 80, any closing thoughts before we get the fuck out of here?
Just looking forward to the Giants game. I mean, you've got those big guys. That front seven. I'm going to be looking forward to see how it's dealt with. But if we do anything in the run game, those 4 guys not named Joe Alt need to create holes. You need to deal with Dexter Lawrence. You need to be able to deal with the edge rushes because you've got 3 guys who would start on pretty much every team in this league. You know, those guys not named Joe Alt need to pick their shit up or be prepared to be shipped out of town because Pipkins is in the last year of his deal. Zion's in the last year of his deal. Bozeman, he's a great leader. Not a good football player.
They can get out of his contract at the end of this year pretty scot-free.
His contract was 2 years, but it's like 1 + 1. It's like we can get rid of you for like nothing. And then we've got another year of having to deal with whatever's left of Mekhi Becton. So, it's, pull your shit together or book yourself a U-Haul, mate. You need to be gone. And we need to, if we need to create these holes and get the run game working, because if we haven't end up with a snow game in October, November, all that fancy shit that Justin does, it's never going to work. And This year we've got some relatively favorable games with some warmer weather teams. We've got Tennessee, we've got Jacksonville, we've got Dallas. They're all nice and warm, but that doesn't work in Pittsburgh. That doesn't work in Buffalo in November. It doesn't work in New England. You need to establish the run game and you need the personnel to do it. And that's the only thing right now this team is missing. And I need to see this.
I'm right there with you. As much as let me make it very clear. I'm a passing guy. I'm an offensive guy at heart. Offensive coordinator for several different teams. Youth league, of course. But that being said, I don't feel confident moving forward if the running game doesn't find a way to get going at a higher rate. That being said, I think this is just a little different situation. I think the Harbaugh Greg Roman marriage is actually going to be one that I no longer am able to give a hard time. I think I'm actually going to be propping it up and putting it on a pedestal and apologizing because of how I didn't buy into it and believe in it. Listen, we all thought they'd be a run-first team. That's not the case. They're slinging it all over the yard. And it doesn't matter what the score is either. Don't get me wrong. They're running in run-specific situations or situations in which the run would make the most sense. But this is a different Greg Roman offense. 80, any concerns about it being more pass-happy?
No, because this year you've got a relatively favorable schedule. You've got warm weather teams and you've got dome teams. If you go to the 2026 schedule, we've got a game in Buffalo, and that ain't going to be if that's a cold weather game, you've got to be able to run the ball. We've also got Seattle. Late in the year, that's got the potential to be a snowy game. You've got AFC North.
It'll be wet at least, I promise you. If it's a late
but
Seattle game, my kids were born in Washington. I was out there. I lived there for 10 years in a little town called Walla Walla. I was actually about 10 minutes from the Oregon line, but keep going.
And then next year, you've got an AFC North game now. That could be Pittsburgh. That could be Cleveland. The wind and rain ain't going to be fun with there. You've got Baltimore. You've got the Bengals. You need to be able to make the changes in place to actually establish a run game, and we need to see that.
Yeah, and here's the deal. It's not just we need to see it. It has to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what we see. It doesn't matter what we want. This Chargers offense, the running game has to find a way to get established. And it's not that I don't think that Justin Herbert can succeed without that. It's that I'm not willing to allow this offense to sacrifice him to the injury gods again and allow him to do the dislocated rib cartilage. We've got to keep this guy clean. There are obvious issues along the line. That being said, even Trey Pipkins is blocking in the pass game better than he has in his entire career.
He's had a lot of help.
He's had a ton of help, but we've got to give him his flowers because he gave up 0 pressures.
Yeah, maybe some gas station flowers or certainly isn't going to be.
That's okay. They could be plastic.
Some $2.99 gas station flowers is all I'm willing to give him right now because he's.
And that's okay. It's a start. It shows your ability to warm up and maybe perhaps work towards the idea that Trey Pipkins is a good idea on this team. Kyle hit me.
Nope.
As I often do on this show, when we get to the O-line smack and the Trey Pipkins and this and that, 3-0 in the division, bitches. That is all.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. Here's the deal. We're getting ready to close out the show. You have spent a lot of time with us. We're going into about 78 minutes right now. Producer extraordinaire Kyle has chimed in magnificently. 80 has done his thing. He's made you feel confident about the Chargers offensive line moving forward, or he's left some more questions inside your mind. And I hope that I've done whatever I can to educate, entertain, and inform you regarding your Los Angeles Chargers. This has been Bull Blitz Uncut. I'm going to say this to both Kyle and 80. Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.